Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so this time we're looking into the Westside Locos. You sent us down this path, really.
Yeah, it's a fascinating topic. A Latino-American street gang, West LA. History going back to the 70s.
Right, the 70s.
Yeah.
And we pulled info from streetgangs.com, LA Weekly, Simi Valley Acorn, all kind of filtered through Wikipedia.
Exactly. And the goal here is really just to understand what these sources say about them. Origins, territory, symbols.
Rivals, allies, their reach,
Yeah.
just laying out what the info suggests. So let's just jump in.
Sounds good. What's interesting right off the bat is how these different sources sort of line up on the core details.
Gives you a picture, doesn't it, of how these networks form and stick around in a place like LA.
Definitely. It's part of the city's fabric in a way.
Okay, so origins.
Yeah.
The 1970s seems like the agreed-upon starting point.
Yeah, that decade pops up consistently.
Yeah.
And location-wise, it's clearly West Los Angeles.
Specifically the Odessa neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's mentioned.
Precisely. Odessa neighborhood. And even more specific, there's this mention of the Halm Avenue gangsters.
Halm Ave, right. Centered on Halm Avenue itself, like a core within the core.
Exactly. It shows how tied these groups can be to, really specific streets or blocks.
So how do they make themselves known? Graffiti, tagging. That seems big.
Very big. It's a key identifier mentioned in the sources. The visuals are important.
What kind of tags are we talking about?
Things like WSLS stands for Westside Locos, presumably. Then LSX3.
Okay.
And just the straightforward WS Locos, or sometimes spelled little O-O-K-O-S.
Right, L-O-K-O-S. So these are like territorial markers, group signs.
Pretty much. It's their signature on the street, defining space and affiliation.
Makes sense. Now, what about conflicts? Who are their main rivals, according to these sources?
The sources point to a few key ones. The 18th Street Gang is mentioned prominently.
Okay, 18th Street, big name.
Yeah, and also Culver City 13's Sotel, and another group called Harpy's, H-A-R-P-Y-S.
Harpies, got it. So definite tensions there. It sounds like a complex map of rivalries.
It really is. These conflicts often define boundaries and interactions,
But it's not all fighting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are there alliances mentioned?
Yes, absolutely. The Westside Locos are described as part of a larger alliance called Locos 13.
Locos 13, and that's like across LA County?
Seems so. The sources connect them with CV Locos in Compton and even another Westside Locos group, but this one's in Glendale.
Huh, interesting. So it's a broader network under that Locos 13 banner.
Exactly. Suggests, a level of coordination or shared identity beyond just their local turf.
And speaking of reach, there was something about Simi Valley that's quite a ways from West LA.
Yeah, that was an interesting detail. A subset apparently exists or existed out in Simi Valley.
Wow, so their influence, or at least their presence, isn't just confined to that core West LA area.
Right. It makes you wonder how those connections work across distances like that.
And historically, it sounds like they might have been even more spread out within LA itself.
That's what the sources suggest, yeah. Mentions of historical cliques. Gonzales Street, Wesley Street.
Fontana Locos, 13 Mas Bagos, South Central too.
Exactly, those names come up. It hints at maybe a wider footprint in the past, or perhaps shifts over time. Everywhere in Los Angeles was the phrasing used, which is pretty broad.
Okay, so let's sort of recap the main takeaways from these sources.
Sure. We've got a group, Westside Locos, started in the 70s.
Based in West LA, Odessa neighborhood, especially around Halm Avenue.
Right. They use specific tags, WSLS, LSX3, WS Locos.
They have major rivals like 18th Street, Culver City 13, Sotel, Harpies.
But they're also part of this bigger Locos 13 alliance across the county.
And they have or had a presence beyond West LA, including historically in other parts of the city, and currently even a subset in Simi Valley.
That pretty much covers the key points from the material we looked at.
Putting it all together like that, it really makes you think, doesn't it? About how these group identities, these territories, these rivalries and alliances, how they all weave together to form the social landscape of a huge city like LA.
Absolutely. It's complex.
Yeah. Like, what does the presence of these specific tags and names on walls, or these understood boundaries, tell us about community, identity, and maybe even social structure within the city itself? It's a lot to consider.
It definitely is a glimpse into one layer of a very layered place.
Well, thanks for digging into this with us. That's our deep dive for today.